preventative maintenance to optimize your health and well-being is a choice. It'll play a critical role in your ability to sustain any hopes of longevity in the conversation of physical and societal progress and how long you'll stay on the land of the living. For men across America, it's a decision they'll have to make as they travel down the road of experience in life. And it appears that we've reached an inflection point in this progress and a division in that very road. According to a new national survey published by the Cleveland Clinic, it revealed a disconnect between men's perception of their health and their actual health habits and reality. The survey showed that 81% of men across the United States believe that they live a healthy lifestyle. However, for many men across the states, bad habits are hard to break. Let's take a moment to dive into the numbers. 44% of men do not get a yearly physical. That same percentage does not prioritize their mental health, and 49% of men across all 50 states do not keep a healthy diet. Furthermore, over half of American men are not satisfied with their current weight. However, 27% of men across America watch 5 hours or more of TV without any physical movement each and every day. And on average, they spend almost 2.5 hours per day on social media, with their head and faces buried in a screen rather than working off the pounds and living a healthier way. For my friend Danny Cavallaro, those numbers and revelations shouldn't come as much of a surprise. Quite frankly, it's those types of statistics that keep him employed. Because you see, as a personal trainer and body performance coach, Cavallaro helps to motivate men to lose body fat and get toned to regain their confidence to minimize current and future health risk. Cavallaro has a weight loss journey of his own that motivated him to start this work, and he now also hopes to spread his message of body positivity and camaraderie as a professional speaker, helping men realize that if they work on shifting their mindset and what's between their ears, they can extend their longevity both physically, mentally, and emotionally in life. And Cavallaro joined me this week to discuss how men can reclaim their health prosperity and leave a lasting legacy. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. So, Danny, if you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program, and I'm super excited to learn how you help men level up their fitness journey, my friend. Happy Monday to you, and it's great to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to change some lives, help some people out.
Absolutely, my friend. Now, I know you're a person that believes optimizing our level of physical and mental health is a choice that we all have to make individually in order to sort of optimize our life goals and expectancy, my friend. So I'm wondering if we can dive into our conversation by you telling me a little bit more of why you believe in that philosophy and why it's so important to you.
Yeah, that's a great question, Kevin. And really, when it comes to men leveling up their health and just staying healthy, I think the biggest thing that will help them is just integrity and really being able to keep their promises. Because if they say, all right, I'm going to get my workout in, and then they actually follow through, right, this is going to help them in other areas of their life with their career, relationships. They'll be much more likely to follow through with their word in other areas, right? But if they're not integral, and a lot of the guys, unfortunately, in, just I want to say around the world, but mostly in the US, right? They say, I'm going to start my workout plan next week or next month or the 1st of January, and we never really get it done. And those broken promises lead to lack of confidence, struggling in their career, struggling in relationships. So I think integrity is the biggest thing, Kevin, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, Danny. And tell me, do you think American men have an obesity problem, or do you think it's something that can be controllable? What are your thoughts there?
So I think we definitely do have an obesity problem, right? But I do think that I think it's controllable. I know it might be a little bit challenging because there's more fast food out there, there's more processed food than ever before, but it really, Kevin, it comes down to choices. So if we want to be healthy and stay healthy, right? Yes, you can get the fast food, you can choose not to work out, but if you want a better quality of life, you have to be making those decisions to eat healthier, to feel better, and just make sure that your choices align with the life that you really want.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, I know more specifically that your work focuses rather on motivating men to lose body fat and get
Yeah.
more toned so they can regain their confidence, my friend. So tell me all about your work and the people that you help, my friend.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah. So really with me, it started with a really bad knee injury about 10 years ago. I shattered my kneecap in 4 places, got multiple surgeries. I got hardware in my knee. It was a lot to deal with. And then I got overweight, right? I gained 30 pounds, wasn't really confident in myself. So I went down the rabbit hole of health and fitness, right? Eventually hired a coach as well, and I lost 30 pounds myself. And so going into college, right, I was going for physical therapy, but also I didn't have a job. So I'm like, you know what? I can help people, lose weight, build muscle, feel their best. And I'm just going to start by providing workout and nutrition plans. So that's what I did. And that was about 5, 6 years ago, which is, crazy to think about because it feels like yesterday. And from there, I just built it all the way up. And we now have 90 clients. We have a team of 4 people. And I finished college, but like with physical therapy, I didn't go down that path anymore. I just went all in on my online fitness business. It's all online. And so what we really do is we have a 3 main pillar system and we help our clients with step-by-step nutrition plans, making sure they're feeling their best without being too restrictive. Workouts, we show them exactly what to do. We build out their whole workout plan for them. The sets, the reps, rest time, video demonstrations, explains exactly what to do. And then also the accountability, right? There's over the top support. We have calls, similar to this where we're interacting on making sure you're getting results. And that's how we help our clients, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, I want to ask you, what's the key to motivating men to care about their health?
That's a great question. So when it comes to motivation, Kevin, I think we have to realize it's just a emotion that's going to come and go, right? Just like, happiness or sadness, it kind of comes and goes sometimes. We can't really rely on it. Same thing with motivation. We can't really rely on motivation. But what we can rely on is discipline, right? And discipline really just means showing up no matter, how you feel. And I know there's a lot of people maybe listening right now, or watching, listening, whatever, and there are definitely days where they wake up and they don't want to go to work, right? But they show up because they're disciplined in their career and they know that there's going to be consequences if they do not show up, right? So we want to translate that discipline, that same discipline, into their fitness journey so they could feel good, they can stay disciplined, not rely on motivation, rely on discipline, because if you don't show up for yourself, there's also going to be consequences to that as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And you dive into the topic of discipline, Danny, and I will use myself as an example. Danny, as you know, buddy, I was born with cerebral palsy, and if I am not disciplined and put myself or my health as a priority, my muscles contract faster than most people, and the type of CP that I have,
Mm,
my muscles contract faster because I don't have enough oxygen in my legs to walk normally. So,
mm,
in order for me to live a long and healthy life, but I have to prioritize my health in order to minimize risk. And I know that you help people really minimize their health risk by telling them their importance of working out, my friend. So tell me why it's important for people to really value their overall physical health and how it helps them minimize risk if they do so.
that's a great question. So, I mean, really, why we should be doing it? I think we all know, right? We should, but it's just the action step to actually do it. And what I like to say is like, pick your pain because it might be painful to or uncomfortable to start like a workout plan or maybe start eating better, breaking some bad habits, right? But it's much more painful if you do nothing about it right now. And then, 5, 10 years comes by and you're on these pills and medications and you have surgeries lined up and you're not able to play with friends or family because you're out of shape, right? So that is a lot more painful. And I think that's just why we have to be willing to really take action right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And, Danny, I know that you help a lot of busy working professionals with their online fitness business, my friend. And I'm curious, when someone comes to you and says, Danny, I really want to work out and put my health as a priority, but I don't have the time. What's your response to them, my friend?
That's a great question. So really it comes to efficient workouts, efficient exercises, right? So when you say you don't have the time, really you're just telling me you're not making it a priority. And probably because your previous workout plan, or maybe something you did before, it involved you going to the gym, hours of meal prep, all that stuff. But honestly, we have clients in our program that are working 12 to 16 hours a day, and they just get in 15-minute home workouts, no equipment needed. And this is literally 45 minutes of their whole week put together. And so they definitely have time to commit to that. Anybody has time for that. It's just about that consistency week after week.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, as you know, across America, there's healthcare inequalities, my friend, depending
Mm,
on where you live, what your
yeah.
race is, and how committed you are to your health. So I'm curious to ask you, Danny, what do you think is the key to closing the gap when it comes to healthcare, sort of inequalities in America? What are your thoughts there?
That's a great question. I learned a lot about this actually in college because I graduated with a health science degree. We went over a lot of this, and I think the biggest thing is before somebody gets into the profession, like if they're in healthcare and they're helping other people, making sure that they're qualified, And the training has to be very specific in a way to make sure this person has empathy. I think that's the key word right there, Kevin, is empathy, because we have to have that empathy and also knowledge coming from where other people are dealing with, different cities that might have low budgeting, or whatever it is. If different cities are dealing with different races, that you're going to see that everywhere, and you have to make sure that everybody in the system is all in the same mindset with equality, with empathy, and just really treating everybody the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Danny, and I'm curious to ask you to define what fitness accountability means to you. What does it mean to be accountable during your fitness
Mm.
journey to you, my friend? What does that mean to you?
That's a great question. I mean, I feel like accountability is everything. That's why I have a coach myself. I'm fit, I know how to make workout plans, I'm certified, but I like the accountability, right? And the support. And that's why I'm actually investing in myself for my clients. Um, when it comes to accountability, we have to realize, Kevin, and I know you know this, being a very successful individual yourself, is we are who we surround ourselves with, right? So if we have other people, coaches that are working on their supportive, they're positive, uplifting, they're in, a good physical shape, mental shape as well, inevitably that's going to become you because you have that accountability, you have that support. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and Danny, I'm curious to ask you about when you look at the America's healthcare system today. How do you think we can eliminate the vices that make men unhealthy?
That's a great question. I mean, unfortunately, the country we live in, it's greedy, right? So there's a lot of fast food. You'll see a lot of gas stations selling a lot of like cigarettes, all that stuff, right? And I think just it comes down to what we talked about before, Kevin, with really it comes down to that choice, right? What do you really want in your life? Because you have two paths. Do you want to choose the path of unhealthiness and feeling low on energy, feeling sluggish, right? Not living a long life? Or do you want to be feeling good physically, mentally, emotionally, have energy, create more memories in your life? I think making that decision is key. And then, like, there's certain like an example. One of the rules I have with my clients is called the 80-20 rule, meaning 80% whole foods throughout your week, which is like lean meats, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and then 20% is processed, like whatever you want, right? So, but it comes with that 20%. So there's a little bit of balance, Kevin. I don't think we have to go all in with those vices, but I think we, have to enjoy ourselves from time to time with some things we can enjoy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and Daddy, I want to revisit the idea of fitness being a choice. I look
Yeah.
at personal health and fitness as sort of a division in the road, my friend, and we all have a decision to make in terms of which direction that we want it to go in terms of our health and fitness journey, my friend. So, what do you think is the key to really making a conscious choice to go in the right direction when it comes to our health and fitness?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's one word and it's your why, right? Like your why of why you're doing this. And like where do you really want to be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, right? Do you want to be in the same spot, right? Overweight, stuck, frustrated, where maybe a lot of guys listening are right now, or do you want to actually create that life that you will actually enjoy with more energy, feeling good? And that's where that fork in the road kind of comes from, Kevin. Like a lot of people are stuck on the same road, but they can just make that turn, right? And make a healthier choice for themselves. And I think just having that why, that vision for their life is going to be super helpful. And that's where a coach or just accountability can come in and help them really structure that why for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that is for anyone watching this and that wants to know or listening to it and says to you, Daddy, I have 20 minutes in a day and I want to dedicate those 20 minutes
Yeah.
to nothing but health and fitness. What are your top three things you would advise people that they can do right now in order to maximize their health?
Top three, I would say, first of all, have like a little workout routine that you can do probably just from home, 20 minutes. I would do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday can be an upper body day. Wednesday can be a lower body day. Friday can be a full body day. Each workout, 20 minutes, that's it. So you have that. The next thing is with nutrition. All I want you to do is focus on protein and vegetables, right? You can still have the food that you're having right now, like because I'm a big believer, Kevin, in not overwhelming people. So really just like this action step for people listening, just have some more protein and have some more vegetables. Just add that to your diet and you'll make some changes, especially with that workout plan. And then the third thing is I would say drink more water. I would say drink more water. A lot of people, their water level is down. I would just start by slowly increasing your water intake. This is going to help with overall health and weight loss and muscle building right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, I believe that if we prioritize our health, it also has positive benefits for our mental psychology. Would you agree with that?
100%, 100%, because I think really the biggest thing with, working out and just eating healthy as well, it's brain power. And there's a saying that goes, you are what you eat, and it's very true. If you're having more processed food, this is going to affect not only like your body, but your brain and your gut and just like how you think. So nutrition is big and exercise is huge too, because this will actually mentally strengthen the brain. And it comes back, Kevin, to that integrity, what we talked about before. If your brain sees that you're actually following through with your word and you're keeping your promises, you're going to build more confidence in yourself to do other things in your life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, I wanted to get your thoughts on the following survey. So our friends over at the
Yeah.
Cleveland Clinic did a survey in December of last year, buddy, and it found that 81% of American men believe that or they lead healthy lifestyles, but 44% of American men don't go for a yearly physical, and they don't take care of their mental health, buddy. So, what are your initial thoughts on what I told you? How do you think we can reverse the trend?
Mm. So that's a great question. I really just think, Kevin, it comes back to awareness, right? People have to be aware of their why and their vision of where they really want to be. Like people don't really make the right choices because they're not fully aware of the consequences that come with it until it actually comes, right? If someone gets diagnosed with high blood pressure or high cholesterol or diabetes due to their poor eating, right? It will hit them right there and they're like, crap, I need to change. But that change, that mental switch needs to come a lot earlier. It needs to come a lot earlier so they don't have to run into those health issues down the road, Kevin. I think making that change is going to be big.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, I'm also curious to ask you about healthcare vulnerability. And what I mean by vulnerability is why do you think it's important for men to communicate about their health and really take ownership of it, my friend? What sort of a sense of empowerment do you think that would give men if they openly communicate about their health and become more vulnerable?
That's a great question. I think really, and this is, I love that you're bringing this up because vulnerability is a key thing that, I'm working on myself and also I'm trying to help men around me. And I think it's much harder to lack that vulnerability than to just embrace it, right? Because it's almost like you're hiding in a shell and you're keeping yourself like tucked in, and it's only going to hurt you worse in the long run. It's going to prolong that pain if you're just not vulnerable and ask for help and get some advice, right? So I think releasing that vulnerability, Kevin, it'll be hard in the beginning, but in the long run, it will really be helpful and you'll get great help and it'll be more useful to you and it'll be easier to become more vulnerable with people.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny is a certified personal trainer and fitness mindset coach, my friend. I'm curious to ask you, what's the key to shifting your mindset if we have a negative or not so favorable view of health and fitness? What are your thoughts there?
Mhm. So, if you have a negative point of view with fitness, I can guarantee, Kevin, it's probably because that person tried and failed before, right? And they probably had a restrictive diet, or they probably had a rigorous workout plan, and it was too long, too time consuming. And now they have a bland taste of health and fitness, right? We all know health and fitness, it's good, but a lot of people don't have the right process. So, moving forward with everybody listening and watching, I would just say take it step by step, right? First, have that vulnerability, ask for help, right? Have the right game plan. And with your workouts, nutrition, I get it. If you do it yourself, it's going to be overwhelming, but have the right plan so you could take it step by step, one step at a time. That way, you'll learn to fall in love with the process of health and fitness because once you take it one step at a time, it becomes fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, I've got a two-part question about your
Yeah.
podcast, my friend. I know that you
Cool.
also host a podcast called Men's Fat Loss Made Easy, my friend, where you dive
Yes.
into helping men really who are struggling to lose more body fat and make them feel more comfortable. So I'm curious about the podcast itself, my friend, but I'm also curious to ask you, why do you think podcasting is a great medium to communicate about health and fitness?
Yeah, that's a great question. I love podcasting because it can just help people from all over the world, right? With us just recording this right now and then just publishing it, it can help somebody in a different city, different country. So I think that's just extremely powerful. And with us, Kevin, I don't know if I think you're maybe going to ask maybe about public speaking. I just wanted to kind of link public speaking with what you just asked me. It's like we have to use our voice as an instrument to help more people. And so I think that's really what podcasting is. And yeah, for Men's Fat Loss Made Easy, we have over 400 episodes. There's a lot of value in terms of just losing weight, building muscle, what to do if you're traveling or you're busy or on the go with weight loss. It's very, very step by step. So I encourage people to go look that up and give it a follow.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about getting tone and building more muscle because all men want to do that, right? So
Yeah.
what are the keys to doing that on a consistent basis in your view, my friend?
Oh, that's a great question. So comes back to that plan we talked about before. Have like a workout plan, right? It could be done from home or you could do some workouts in the gym. Focus on like strength training. That means using your body weight or cables, machines with some workouts, and then a little bit of cardio. A lot of people do too much cardio. Focus on some strength training. The next thing is making sure, you're eating healthier foods. The 80-20 rule we talked about before, 80% whole foods, 20% processed foods. Having that balance, I think, is going to be super helpful. Make sure you're sleeping good, 6 to 8 hours, getting your water in, right? And I think keeping your stress low is the key to toning up, building muscle. And the key, Kevin, right there is just consistency. If people do that consistently over time, they will get results. But people usually start for a couple weeks, then they stop, then they start, then they stop. So keep that consistency for everybody listening.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Daddy, one way that I stay consistent, my friend, and find my mental center, my friend, is I lift weights every day for at least 10 to 15 minutes, my friend, and it
Love
really
it.
puts me in a mental and emotional state to really attack the day with energy and enthusiasm, my friend. So, what is your definition of healthcare commitment versus consistency? Or do you think those two things are interconnected? What are your thoughts there?
I think it's interconnected. That commitment and consistency is big because commitment will breed consistency, right? If you are committed and you really want this and you want to stay disciplined and you're focused on your why, your vision, like it's only going to help out your consistency moving forward. And I tell all my clients and people just that follow me on social media, please don't be perfect. You don't try and be perfect. Just try to stay consistent. And I tell people all the time, like, I'd rather have you be 80%, 100% of the time with your results instead of 100%, 50% of the time, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people do that, January, February, March, they get hyped up. They want to, lose weight, feel good. Then they fall off track. Then they start again. They fall off track. So we want to make sure we're just focusing on consistency all year round, Kevin.
Yeah, and Jenna, how do you think focusing on our physical health can help with our mental intelligence as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. When it comes to physical health, well, really, you're just challenging the mind, right? Every workout, every set, every rep, you're really just challenging the brain. And then once you challenge the brain, it becomes stronger, right? And like it's only going to feed you better ideas. You're going to feel better. You're going to have more confidence. Then the biggest thing, Kevin, is keeping your promises and living in integrity. Because a lot of people right now, they have a gap in their life because they say they want to do one thing and they actually don't follow through. With fitness, when you say you're going to actually show up and you follow through, once your brain sees that, you build a lot of confidence. So that's how it really help people mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, I want to go back to something you said earlier about building consistent habits because, I believe expectations are great, but if you don't have a fundamental level of expectations for yourself, it's hard to rise to the level of anybody else's. So, with that in mind, my friend, what do you think is the key to really building those consistent habits, both in your fitness journey and in life as well? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kevin. I think we talked about this previously, but take it step by step. A lot of people get overwhelmed because they're looking at the top of the mountain when they haven't took their first step, and they're like, "Whoa, I can't get there." Right? I just need you to look at that first stone, that first building block, that first step moving forward. And also, I think having the right plan is just going to be key, right? Whether it's career, relationships, fitness, if you have the right blueprint, you're going to get there no matter what. It's just take that step one step at a time, and that's going to be the key to building and getting goals and achieving goals in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, Danny, I know that we both share a passion for public speaking, my friend.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, why is it important for you to take your fitness knowledge into the speaking realm, my friend? Why is that important to you?
Yeah, I love that question. Really, just speaking for me, it gets to use my voice as an instrument to help more people change more lives, right? And especially if I could do it face to face, and they have specific questions or struggles. I think there's just a deep connection there, and I'm able to just impact more people and get to use my voice and help more people around the world. That's the biggest thing that I'm really about with public speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, in the few minutes I have left with you, buddy, it's Monday today. So I'm wondering if you can give me sort of a motivational Monday sort of pick me up for anyone watching or listening to this to really prioritize their health, buddy. So let's motivate some people on Monday, buddy.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. I would just say this. I'm a big believer of, sometimes even just using some fear and regret to push us. So every Monday, like I just look in the mirror and I say to myself, listen, if I don't take action this week, moving forward, right, workouts, nutrition, with my career, I know by Sunday night, I'm not going to feel as good. I'm not going to sleep as good. I'm not going to feel as well, feel as confident because I know there were broken promises when I wanted that Monday, right? If I don't follow through, I'm going to regret it. And then that one bad week turns to two, and then four, and then 1 year. And that is fearful, right? For me, especially. So I think knowing that everybody listening, like we can be in that position if you do not take action, right? Let a lot of everybody listen, Kevin. Everyone's really smart. I know you're a smart guy as well. Everyone listening is very intelligent. So it's just a smarter option to like, let's choose to work on your health and fitness today, moving forward, have those goals and follow through. That way, in 7, 14, 21 days, or even 5 years from now, you're not thinking about health issues or not feeling confident in your clothes or not feeling good about your body or your health physically, mentally, and you're in a lower place. Let's not worry about that. Let's make sure you're living your best life, and it starts today with this Monday. Is that
Yeah,
helpful?
yeah, absolutely, my friend. And tell me, Danny, I'm a big believer in self-reflection and having what I call a moment of difference. I always tell people life is about etching your your prints of difference into the sand, my friend. So when you look at your life to this point, buddy, what do you think has been your motivating moment of difference in your life?
Mm. I would say I know I talked about it previously on the beginning of the podcast. When I broke my kneecap, that's kind of what really separated me. Because a lot of people that I knew, they were living the same life, right? And my friends and family, like their life was going on, and then my life in one second just dramatically changed. It took a different path, right? For 2 years, I was sedentary. Before that, I was running every day and playing sports every single day, and my whole life changed at that moment. And I went through a lot of adversity through that and also just like growing my business through that as well. And I put myself in isolation, right? And I feel like that's the difference with me and what motivates me is I'm very different and I feel like I'm different for a reason. And it's to help all these people that are kind of just like going through life and they don't really maybe have that purpose. They're not working on their health and fitness. They're kind of struggling. So I went through that struggle for a reason to help those men that are struggling right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've got two questions left. And the
Yeah.
first, uh, if I were to ask you to take the next 5 minutes to really reflect on where men think they should be versus the reality of where they are, and really telling them that fitness isn't a competition rather than a journey, what would you tell them?
That's a great question. The one thing I would tell them is stop comparing yourself to other people because that's what a lot of people do. They enter a program or even they go to work or see some friends and they're losing weight, right? And they're like, oh, why are they losing weight? I tried this before, it didn't work for me. And immediately they start comparing their own results. When in reality, just like you said, Kevin, it's a journey with themselves, right? Just trying to get 1% better every day, focusing on their own journey. And they have to realize they're exactly where they're supposed to be right now. That's the biggest thing to really remember for them. And don't compare your level 1 to somebody else's level 7, right? So really just focus on yourself. That's what I would have to say there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Danny, my final question is how I end all of my podcasts, my friend. And I
Yeah.
want you to take a moment to reflect on your life and your legacy, buddy, and how you want that to be defined both from a personal and professional standpoint. What are your thoughts there?
I love it. Just to keep it simple, man, I really just want to leave people better than I found them. Right. So physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I like to help people get to that best version of themselves and really bridge the gap from where people are right now to where they want to go and where they want to be. So how I can do that through speaking and my programs and courses, all that, they're just a bunch of tools and vessels to help people become the best version of themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, Danny, before I get you out of here, what is the best way people can get connected with you if they're so inclined to do so?
Love it. Yeah, thank you for following. So we do have our podcast, Men's Fat Loss Made Easy, if you want to look that up, Apple Podcast app and Spotify. And then also Instagram is a great one, Danny Cavs 4. So that's Danny, Danny, and then Cavs 4. And then my Facebook is Danny Cavallaro. So that's Danny, and then Cavallaro.
Before I ended my time with Cavallaro, I snuck just one more question in surrounding his love of sports because it's been something that's been incorporated in his life since he was a little guy. So I was curious to see where his loyalties lie.
I love it. Yeah, no, I like you sneaking in the question. I do love sports because I grew up playing sports. That's really all I knew. Basketball, football were the main ones. And looking back and reflecting, Kevin, I mean, I love sports because it builds another sense of leadership for you. And all of us, right? And teamwork as well, and support and community, right? And for me, like I run my business, and it's really no different than a sports team, right? You have your coaches, you have your captain, you have your game plan, you have the X's and O's. Now you really just need to execute as a team. So I just love sports because it's like that healthy competition. And, it really builds great skills and character traits that a lot of people, especially men today, need for sure. So I love sports, 100%.
Well, I appreciate that, my friend. As an old sports reporter, I think It's the one thing that binds us all together,
Yeah.
no matter where we come from in life. Would you agree with that?
I definitely agree, and I want to point that out because just like you said, all areas of the world, right? They're coming together and joining one team, and it's pretty special to create that bond. So I definitely agree with you there.
Well, Danny, I had so much fun chatting with you this morning all about optimizing mental health. My friend, you're really making a difference in the space, and I want to thank you for joining me this morning to engage in conversation all about mental health, my friend.
Oh, Kevin, thank you so much. It means the world that you thought of me and invited me. I love everything you're doing, and your story is magnificent. You're making a serious change. So thank you so much for having me, and I appreciate you. I hope this was helpful for everybody listening.